Hey ladies, this is Mocha Mommy here bringing you another video. And this video, listen guys, there's a movie. It came out in about 2006. It's called The Lucky Number 11. And basically this movie is about a long con. A con that was basically 20 years in the making. All right? This movie stars Josh Hartnett, Bruce Willis, Morgan Freeman, Lucy Liu, and Ben Kingsley. And the opening scene is really pivotal because it talks about something called the Kansas City Shuffle, where Bruce Willis is explaining the point of a long con is to where everyone else looks right, you go left. Hence, a Kansas City Shuffle. And ladies, I just want to put you on a little bit of game to some of the Kansas City Shuffles that are running here around YouTube. The first Kansas City Shuffle, brought to you by the likes of Candace Owen, the likes of Lauren Chen, and other content creators. Just leave it there. This is basically the opposite of the OnlyFans phenomenon, where we can when people talk about femininity, it comes in the terms of Madonna and the whore. So whereas OnlyFans has the very dark sexual side, the women who are playing the Madonna, the righteous, the good girl, the one who sets herself above all the other women, who has good values, who's conservative, who's not materialistic and thinks that hypergamy is for the birds, and, just really believes in finding that nice guy. Honey, it's a Kansas City Shuffle. That's a Kansas City Shuffle because if you look at Candace Owen and Lauren Chen, their audience is full of men who a lot of times hate women, who will have an OnlyFans subscription but still not take a real woman to dinner in real life because they think everybody's a whore. Except for them. These are women who will talk all day about how wrong hypergamy is, but then go to some of the most elite colleges, travel in some of the most well-to-do circles, and marry well. I mean, think about it. Think about Candace Owens' husband. He's not some nice guy who works at FedEx for $40,000 a year. Lauren Chen's fiance, Liam, is a top Washington conservative lobbyist. Okay, Liam Donovan is no poor dude, all right? So while they're telling you, look at all these materialistic women, these women are, please. Candace Owen used to work at Vogue. All right? Lauren Chen went to elite college in Canada. And her videos are sponsored, especially the one where she's talking about how hypergamy is for the birds. It was sponsored by a master's degree program, an online master's degree program. I'm going to leave the link in the description box, okay? So she's being sponsored by educational institutions, but telling you, women, that your high earnings in education is what's keeping you from getting a man. But what does she end up getting? You see what I'm saying? It's a Kansas City Shuffle. And now this whole thing with Lori Gottlieb. Lori Gottlieb is the multi-millionaire author, podcaster, and advice columnist who's talking about, hey ladies, it's okay to settle, not for Mr. Right, but just for Mr. Right Now. Listen, Mr. Right Now is great for dating, and I highly suggest you guys do that when you're online. Mr. Right Now, the guy who's just clean with a job, who's good enough to take you out to dinner. All right? I'm all for Mr. Right Now when it comes to dating. But let me tell you something about Miss Lori Gottlieb. Miss Lori Gottlieb is a single mom in her 50s who's worth about $19 million and has several homes and is able to podcast now from very exotic locations and has places like Palm Springs and Barbados because her job gives her that freedom. All right? She was in a relationship with another single dad. That single dad kind of fell on some hard times because of the COVID outbreak. Did she marry that man? No. That man moved back in with his parents. Not one of her expensive, exclusive homes. Moved back in. So while she's telling you to settle, she don't put her unemployed man about her life. Ladies, Kansas City Shuffle. That is a Kansas City damn shuffle. Now, do I agree that it could be strategic for some women to take a step back once they have a family and support their man's career, and while they kind of stay at home and raise kids? Absolutely. But that's another video, and I'll get through that later. But at the same time, ladies, this is the Kansas City shuffle that they are running on you and on these men. Because let's be real, these men don't have the money, the charisma, or the personality to get the OnlyFans model, but they also don't have the integrity and the work ethic and the connections to get the Madonnas, like the Lauren Chens and the Candace Owens of this world, okay? But they're telling you to settle, that your expectations are too high. Ladies, it's a Kansas City shuffle. The next Kansas City shuffle, I would say, with the hypergamy dating scene is telling you that wealth has a look. All right? The suited content creators, the ex-con content creators, who are letting you know that if you dress a certain way and do a certain thing that you're going to attract wealth. That's only partially true. I live in Austin, Texas, all right? When they talk about how 80% of the venture capital only goes to 20% of the cities, this is one of the cities that I'm talking about. And nobody here dresses like that, ladies. Nobody here wears suits to work. This is an IT capital where people are making millions in their Birkenstocks. So nobody's dressing like that. This is a place where these high-end ranchers and landowners are driving F2 and 350s and not Mercedes-Benz. So if you're going to go by that standard, I'm letting you know that no, that's not what wealth looks like. I am telling you, ladies, wealth is a mindset, which is why I'm constantly pointing you guys to wealth-building mindset content creators so that you know it when you see it and you know it when you hear it. There's a reason why I point you to Clark Howard, Jaspreet Singh, why I have you read books by Darren Hardy and listen to the Jordan Harbinger podcast and just sense gems. Because listen, I want you guys to know money when you hear it. Because money is a mindset. Do you remember when Tanya TKO and the Pink Pill had done their little powwow together where they were talking about how most men who make over $250,000 are driving a Ford F-150. Let me tell you something. Those are the longest lasting trucks on the road. Fords and Dodges. All right? These guys know to not waste their money on a vehicle. And they know that if anything happens and shit hits the fan, they know they can throw a lawnmower in the back and make some money. They know they could get on Craigslist and help somebody move and make some money because they damn sure ain't going to be hungry. These are the men with hustle, and that's why they drive in that pickup truck. My husband's in IT. Why does he have an F-250? Number one, because he's got a hobby. He goes RVing, and he needs a torque to tow it. And he can afford to do that. And number two, if anything goes bad, our kid's softball needs equipment moved, or if somebody needs, his brother who's stationed in El Paso needs some help or some home repairs. And if his buddies who need home repairs, we have a renovation project on our property. Like, listen, that's a man who understands the value of a dollar because he understands the work. I ain't never ever had to ask this dude when we had to, now that we're renovating, I don't have to pay for delivery. He can go pick it up. Power tools and all. Because that is how money mindset works. They're self-sufficient, they're independent, they do things for themselves, and that's why you see them behind the wheel of a Toyota Tacoma and not a motherfucking BMW, okay? Think about that. They're not leasing no BMWs because they got work to do. Okay, guys. Another Kansas City shuffle that's kind of out there. Actually, a subscriber turned me on to this. Dr. Umar Johnson's Breakfast Club interview. Kansas City shuffle, guys. Kansas City shuffle. Let me tell you something. I know a lot of you guys don't trust Dr. Umar anyway, and for good reason. Listen, if some guy is about black family and he's talking about black family and he does not have one, look out for the Kansas City shuffle. Dr. Umar Johnson lives in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I'm going to link this article in the description box. That has one of the most favorable male to female ratios if you're a single man. There is a literally 90,000 missing men from Philadelphia. All right? It's literally one of those cities that's like 55% female and 45% male. So this guy has a lot of opportunity and options. This is a guy who talks about how he can't have a school for black kids and have a wife with a blonde weave. Motherfucker, who? You know how many Lincoln College graduates in HBCU, that's in Pennsylvania, how many Delta Sigma Thetas, how many Zeta Phi Betas who are out here in Philadelphia making moves, who have the same kind of mindset? Do you know how many teachers and high school administrators that are black women and natural who are in this man's circle, if he actually is who he says he is? And you trying to tell me that he can't find a woman with natural hair? In Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where the ratios favor you? As an educated black man who is a child school psychologist, which is a female-dominated profession, but he can't find a black wife? Get the fuck out of here, guys. That is a Kansas City shuffle. They're hustling the hell out of y'all. Maybe not y'all, but their audience. They're hustling. Listen, Dr. Umar's marketability is his availability. So making women think that they have a chance is part of his hustle. Okay? And when he talks about this whole quote-unquote snow bunny crisis, ladies, another Kansas City shuffle. You know, he's talking about, why are you not talking about the black women who are doing it? Well, it's because black men do it at higher rates. Absolutely they do. Okay? But he also understands that divestment is something he's feeling. Do not underestimate that. He is feeling the weight of divestment. Because he knows that he's at that point with black women where he pretty much knows that it's like having a kid who no longer believes in Santa Claus. The magic is gone. The innocence is gone and the blinders are off. He knows what's going on TikTok. He knows what's going on YouTube. He knows what's going on with the manosphere, and he sees it in his life. He knows for a fact that younger black women are not putting up with this. Professional black women are not putting up with this. And honey, that's his bread and butter. That's the audience who used to salivate at what it was he's saying. And now that he can't get the HVAC in his building done, it's because he knows that these black men in these skilled trades are not down for him like that. They're not down for him like that. He's going to have to pay somebody to do his HVAC and electrical. Because he knows that a lot of these black divested men are not about helping him. And he knows that black women are divesting at very large rates, and the caliber of women that he probably wants is not down for him anymore. Because they're not going to play his game no more. And that's what I'm trying to say, ladies. These are Kansas City shuffles where it benefits the person doing the hustle. Meanwhile, they're getting you to look right. They're moving left. Watch out for the hustle. Because it's not what people say. It is everything that they do. Leadership is by example. Life is not about what you say, but about your actions. So if their actions don't match up to their speech, ladies, look out for the Kansas City shuffle. This is Mocha Mommy, and I'll see you in the next video.